Hi guys, and welcome to Tongue Meditate with me, Meditate. If you're a return subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome to you too. While we're here, don't forget to click on subscribe button and the notification bell for notification every single time I post a video, and follow my socials. Let's be friends on social media. So as you guys can see by the title of today's video, I am going to be doing a Q&A on how to become an au pair. This video is long overdue, matter guys. Au pair, look what everything has just been hustle and bustle, but worry not, I am here now. So I've been receiving so many DM people asking me how long it took me to get my visa, what agency I'm using, how much it costs, and I just felt like, you know what, I just need to make a video about it so everybody's able to see it. And I'm going to be speaking of my experience, and this is based on a 4-month time experience, because I've been here for 4 months, so this is based on my experience. I don't know about anybody else's experience. I've heard about the experience, but this is what I went through, and I'm going to be answering all these questions to the best of my ability. So I honestly hope that this video is going to help you guys, and yeah, let's get into the questions. So before I even get into the questions, I am going to be explaining what an au pair is, and I'm going to be answering or defining this to the best of my ability. An au pair is somebody that goes to live in a different country, and they work with a family and they look after the kids, basically live and nanny with the kids, but from a different country. So that is like one of the best and the perks for the kids, because they have an au pair and a nanny au pair, you know, from a different country, and you live with the family provides housing for you, they obviously pay for your food, they pay for you to go to school, and yeah, that is basically what this au pair is to my understanding. I will put the Google definition on the screen if need be, because this is my definition, and you also be able to experience a different culture. The family is able to experience a different culture through you able to experience a different culture because you're living in a whole different country. Okay, so the very first question I am going to be answering is how did I find the agency and what agency am I using? So I'm going to answer this question as a two-in-one question because they kind of interlinked. But how I found the agency: back in high school, there were always agencies that would come to school and they'd be telling us about them and whatnot, and then I was about to go with one of the agencies that I saw at school, but then my friend told me about cultural care, and I researched about them, and I saw that, you know what, cultural care is actually a better fit for me, and I decided to go with cultural care. So I'm using Cultural Care South Africa. They have many other branches and many other, you know, because they're a big au pair company in America. They're one of the biggest au pair companies in America. They have Sweden, Germany, England, Mexico, Brazil, you name it. There's just so many. So I am using Cultural Care au pair. What experience do you need? So what experience do you need? You need about 200 hours plus of childcare experience and hours, and this cannot be with people that are like your siblings, or this cannot be with children that are your siblings. It has to be, for example, kids like your cousins or family friends children. But then the best way in which you're able to get childcare experience is from a kindergarten, because that's what I did. I worked in a kindergarten, but you have to have more than 2 references, not 1 reference. So working in a kindergarten helps. Babysitting children over the weekend, during the holidays, that really helps. Also working in orphanages, that helps too. Just being able to build your childcare experiences. Obviously you need to love children. If you do not love children, then this job is not for you. But then you honestly really need to love children, and then you also need to have a driver's license. Many families might not require you to have a driver's license, but I honestly feel like it's the best and safest option, just in case you to move to a family with that requires you to have a driver's license, and then if you don't have one, then you know it's going to be a problem. So I to have a driver's license, to have a passport, to have a visa, and that visa only comes like once, you know, all the other documents have been obtained and required. The other experience that you need, you have to be from the ages of 18 to 26 years old in America. In some countries it's 18 to 30 years old, depending on the country. And yeah, that is the experience. That is not experience, but it's like what you need. And then also obviously your passport, you need to have a clear criminal record. You shouldn't have any criminal activities on your name. You should be in good health. Have a matric certificate or a matric diploma. Experiences or things that are very important that I think that you can use. And then somebody asked me, what other au pair companies are there? So there's au pair companies in the names of Au Pair in America, Au Pair Care, Cultural Care, OVC, Carla's Au Pair. There's just so many au pair companies, and I honestly feel like when it comes to choosing an au pair company, find a company that is best suited for you and one that is also best suited for your budget, because cultural care is a bit more on the pricier side, but there are many other au pair agencies that are, you know, much more cheaper and much more affordable. So I honestly feel like with au pair companies, just being able to do your research and find one that is best suited for you and your budget, and one that aligns with, you know, you and what, you know, you want to achieve. And also just being able to do your research, guys. The best way in which you're able to do research about au pair companies is obviously on their website, and also finding au pairs that are working with that particular au pair company, because there are instances where people do au pairing on their own, where they do not work with an agency because they do not want to spend the money of being able to pay program fees and whatnot. But I feel like it's always safer to work with an agency. So if anything is to go wrong, you are backed and protected by the agency. So if you're not getting paid by your family, you know that you're able to go to an agency and report to them. So anything that's to happen, you're paid, like the agency is protecting you. But if you're on your own and you do it independently, people do it and it does go up. But I honestly just prefer that, just being able to do it with an agency, so that you're able to know that you're protected at all time, at all costs, and you're basically insured. How much did you pay for the program? I paid about 15,000 Rand for the program fee. And the way in which I paid the program fee is, okay, with cultural care, you only pay the program fee once you have matched with your family. Once you have solidified and you have matched with the family, they give you 2 weeks in which you're able to pay for the program fee. With other au pair agencies, they might ask you to pay they might ask you to pay for your application fee, and then once you pay your application fee, they're going to ask you to pay for the connection and matching fee, then they're going to ask you to pay for everything else. And I honestly feel like agencies like that is a bit of a gamble, because if you pay for your application fee and you don't get accepted or you get declined from the agency, that is gamble and your money is taken away from you. So with cultural care, knowing that, having that security of knowing that I just need to do everything, and then all I need to do is just pay once I have finally found my match and it is, you know, certified and verified that I am going to be going to America. How long did it take you to get your visa? It took me quite some time to get my visa, because I applied for my visa back in September, and then when I applied for my visa, I got a date for the 3rd of March, and then I had to keep on checking, so I'm able to get an earlier date, because due to COVID, everything was just so uncertain at the time. And then luckily, by the grace of God, I was able to get an appointment in February, and then I just kept on checking, and then I was able to get an appointment in January, on the 12th of January. And then I went to my appointment on Tuesday, and I was able to get my visa on that Friday, so that helped a lot. And one tip of advice that I can give to you: when you're applying for your visa appointment, keep on checking every single day for a visa appointment to pop up, because some people do cancel their visa appointments, or just miraculously somehow openings do happen and openings do come up. So if you're applying for a visa appointment, just keep on checking for your visa appointment. And then nothing that I would say, it is quite difficult for people to get visa appointments at this particular moment, because of all the travel bans that are happening, because of all the restrictions, and visas are only being given to people with emergency visas. Also with me, when I was applying for my visa, that was the problem, and that was like a big stress, because only people with emergency visas were being issued visas. And people with emergency visas are people or au pairs that work with families that are in the healthcare center. Like if your host mom is a doctor, then you have privilege, or if your host dad is a doctor, you have privilege. So that was quite of a struggle. So it is difficult to get visa appointments at the moment, but then just keep on checking for visa appointment dates, and that makes it better. How long does the process take? So the process differs from person to person, and my process took about 3 days for me to complete my application. Some people it takes them 6 months, some people it takes them a year, 3 months, depending on when you start your application. It took me 3 days because I already had all my documents. I had my driver's license, I had my police clearance form, I had my passport, and all I needed to get was my health physician forms and whatnot. Then it took another 3 days for my application to be processed, and then it took a week for them to call me, to call all my references, to check if everything is fine and whatnot. Then eventually I was put into the matching pool. I was put into the matching pool in April. And then when you put in the matching pool, when you put into the matching pool, it means that you're able to start connecting with families. But then let me tell you, when you are connecting with families, you can't choose the families that you want to connect with. Families have to choose you. So that is one of the most stressful parts. And in the connection phase process, some people, it might take 2 days to get a connection. Some it might take a week. Some it might take 6 months. And I feel like it's also very difficult now because many host families are looking for au pairs that are in country because of COVID and all the restrictions, and people that already have their visas. And another way in which people are able to connect with families, if you don't want to be waiting for so long, is people go on Facebook. There are many Facebook groups for people that are looking for au pairs out of country, in country, and whatnot, and just post your details on those Facebook groups. And then once you're there, maybe families will be able to want to connect with you on Facebook, and then you give them all your details, and they'll be able to connect to you on your profile, and then you guys are able to start talking from there. And then from that point on, from my connection, I did speak to some families, and then I matched with the family that I'm currently with in middle of July, and I was meant to come in September, but due obviously to the travel bans, I was unable to. So it took me roughly 3 months for everything to be complete, but with the time in between of getting my visa, so it was basically 9 months for everything to be complete. So ciao. And then another word of advice that I'm also gonna give is when you're connecting with families, or like in the connection phase, remember to read your family's profile and also find a family that is best suited for you, and one that suits your personality, and one that you really click with. Because sometimes with the connection phase, it is quite difficult and it is stressful because you're going to choose a family because they might be the only family that's connecting with you at that particular time. But then you need to find a family that is best suited for you, and a family that will to match with the type of personality you have, having the same interests with the family. And it's also it's tricky because in terms of people might not be the same on the phone, and then when you're living with them, it's totally something different, and that is a big stressful thing, which leads me to my next question, which is if it does not go as planned with the family. So if it does not go as planned with the family, you go into the rematch phase. Now the rematch phase means that you're gonna be looking for another family, and before the rematch phase even occurs, or before it even happens, you first have to talk to the family about whatever issues you have. And if you are unable to talk to the family with the issues that you have, you talk to your LCC, and LCC is basically the person that protects us au pairs and families. They're basically the mediator in all the problems. For me personally, my LCC is like, a sister to me because we have a very good relationship, but everybody's LCC relationship is different. And then your LCC comes and steps in, and they talk about the problems, and they come to a conclusion. So the conclusion might be, if you want to stay with the family, you can stay with them and resolve the problems. But if you feel like you do not want to stay with them anymore and the problems are just beyond you, or if you feel like the family is not a right match for you, or if you guys aren't clicking properly, that's fine. You can go into the rematch phase, and then when you go into the rematch phase, you have 2 weeks to find a family, and in those 2 weeks you have to find a family, and you put back into the matching pool. And when you put back into the matching pool, it's not really 2 weeks because of all the other things that really need to come together before they dismatch you guys. But then it takes about 2 weeks for you to find. You have about 2 weeks to find your next family, and if you don't find your family within the 2 weeks, you are going to be sent home, which is quite stressful. But then at the same time, it also goes by the relationship and how you are being treated in that household, or what is bothering you. That's why it's always better to talk to your LCC and try to find a conclusion on how to solve the problems that you have. How do you know if the family is the right one for you? Honestly, I feel like just go with your gut. Like for me personally, just going with your gut. And if you're a believer, talking to God and praying and asking him to lead and guide you into finding people that are for you, the right people. And if the people that you are talking to are not the right match for you, going into rematch. But then I honestly feel like trusting your guts, and hence, as I said, talking to as many families as you can until you find a family that is best suited for you and a family that is perfect for you. And then with the connection phase with families, ask families a lot of questions. I'll be doing a different question on what type of questions to ask for host families, but then in that phase it's also very important, if they had an ex or a pair, ask them if you can talk to the pair, like just talk to the family and just being able to find out more information about the family. Do as much research as you can about the family. What is the advantage and disadvantage about the agency that you're using? The advantage about this agency is that the advantage for me is that they are a big agency. There's a big support group, especially with the girls that have met in the United States. So I do have friends that are with other agencies, but there's many girls that are using cultural care. They were very fast, like everything just happened so fast compared to other agencies. For me, everything happened so fast for me in terms of my application, my interview. Like the only thing that took time is the connection, and that phase that really took time. I preferred them. They're best company and they matched for me. They were good company for me personally. And then a disadvantage is that obviously they can't answer your calls like 24/7, so that is stressful. Some things you had to really do on your own, like getting your visa appointment, you had to do that on your own, and it was just stressful. Being able to get your international permit, you had to also do that on your own. Like there's just so many things that they can't do for you. Advantages, obviously they are quite on the pricier side, but that's why I said depending on you as a person, if you are willing to pay more, then that is okay, or depending on your budget and what's best suited for you. Obviously I might be more biased because I am with them, but for me they are a very good agency, and they're one of the most trusted agencies, au pair agencies in America. How does this experience deal with you? This experience really deals with you mentally and emotionally. And the reason why I say mentally and emotionally is because I feel like the fact that we're in COVID times, it really just takes a big toll on you, because everything is just so uncertain. Like everything is just so uncertain in terms of, am I gonna get a match? Am I gonna find a connection? I have to wait for connections. And it dealt with me a lot mentally and emotionally, because finding a connection, because every single day you have to keep on checking the profile, because families are able to see when last you were online on your profile. So every single day I had to keep on going and checking if I have a new connection or whatnot, and then talking to different families and knowing that, you know, maybe they found somebody else and you weren't for them, and just being able to wait for families to connect with you. That is like really that's really a big stressful thing. And how it also dealt with me is sometimes this might sound weird or funny, but like sometimes when I call the agency, because you never know, because I'd never met the people that I was working with or the people in the agency. So sometimes I might call them and they wouldn't answer my phone, or it just like go to voicemail, or when I send them emails and they wouldn't be answering in like an hour or two, I'd be on some, what if this is all a scam and I'm gonna be investing my life and I'm gonna be investing my money into this, and then next thing you know, tomorrow everything is blocked, you can't find them. I was just really stressed about that, because I only went to their office the day before I was going to leave, the day before I was going to go on my flight, when they were telling me all the other information that I need to know. But then the fact that we're in COVID times and everything is just so uncertain, it just makes the whole process uncertain, and will really make, for me personally, it made me doubt, or it made me like really doubt if I really want to do this, because of all the stress that it was causing onto me, because of all the uncertainty, because of not getting connections with families, because of not being able to travel, and also that thing of what if I'm unable to travel now and my family is going to try to find an in-country au pair. So that it really does deal with you a lot. But then I honestly feel like you just always need to stay hopeful, positive, and you always need to just trust and believe that God is handling all the things above you. And here, all the other documents for your visa you're able to get once you have gotten your match with your family. And yeah, that is it. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description box below on how you guys are able to sign up with the agency that I'm using with Cultural Care. And as I did state, do your research about agencies, but then good luck to anybody who is looking for an agency, who's looking into a pairing. And in my next video, I'm going to be answering questions on what questions to ask his family and what challenges and experience and whatnot. Like, guys, just DM me the questions that you'd like to know, and I am always available and willing to answer all your questions. And I honestly hope that this video is maybe to help somebody, and good luck on your journey if you're just starting. If you have any questions, comment down below or just DM me, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Guys, I'll see you guys in my next video.